So welcome everyone who is here and everyone who is listening to the recording. This is what I'm currently calling the Ancestral Lineage Healing Community, and that name, who knows? Maybe that name will evolve as we are evolving. And so, good day to everyone. This is the second monthly Zoom call for this community. And for the first few months, I'm sharing this on YouTube along with links to free resources for anyone who would like to join us. So I'm just going to begin first by setting the field of energy with a prayer of gratitude. So just taking a moment to acknowledge the unseen world that is all around us, the land spirits on the location that each of us are, and that includes water, air, fire, earth, ether, in all its different forms, including in our human bodies. We carry all the elements. Thank you to the native people who were here first, or at least before modern times. And in this area, in Seattle, it's the Duwamish and the Coastal Salish. So I acknowledge their presence and all that they brought and still bring from the spirit world. Thank you to our vibrantly well ancestors for calling us into this work and so that we can learn with your protection, guidance, wisdom, and love, that we can learn and remember some of the earth honoring traditions that we lost in modern times, that we lost in nomadic times. So thank you for calling us here. Thank you to our trusted guides. May we continue to deepen our relationship with you and to feel your presence and to learn from you. So thank you. And thank you to everyone who has come to the call live or is bringing your curiosity as you listen to the recordings. And with this simple opening, I say thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. So I'm going to share a few things today. Uh, The first thing is we'll begin calling on trusted guides to clear the energy and set boundaries of protection, and then highlight building relationships with the guides. Then I'm going to talk about self-forgiveness and lead you in a simple exercise. So just to give you a perspective, the foundation I start with every day with my trusted guides is lighting a candle and burning incense. I say good morning to the land spirits, my vibrantly well ancestors, and my trusted protector guides. And then, as I'm still in the process of connecting with them, I usually go make my coffee, and I'm asking them as I walk into the kitchen to please be with me throughout my day and night, to clear the energetic space around me, and to surround me in bubbles of gold, silver, and iron. Now, this is shorthand for a longer practice that I do on some days. And just like in any relationship, sometimes you spend a little more time having a conversation with someone, and sometimes it's a quick good morning, have a great day, that type of thing. So it's the same with the unseen guides. But since we're together in a circle, and there have been so many conversations that I've had with clients in private sessions lately around setting boundaries before meditating, excuse me, working with manifestation tools or calling on well ancestors, I'll guide us through a longer check-in with our trusted guides so that you have this once again as a recording and as a practice. Okay, so this will probably be 5 or 10 minutes. We'll just see how it goes. So feel free to join me. So take a few breaths. Focus on your heart. And then begin to connect with your physical body. Focus on your belly, your hips, legs, feet. And from the bottom of your feet, imagine there being roots or beams of light going down into the earth, 10 to 20 feet, so that you feel this connection to Mother Earth and feel the stability that's there and this connection, this support that you have from Mother Earth. Then focusing on your heart again, focus on heart, throat, third eye, crown chakra. And then turn your attention to 10 to 20 feet above you to make a connection with the eighth chakra, which is where the ancestors are, the ancestral realm, the Akashic records, archetypes, your blueprint for your soul. And then turn your attention back to your heart and become aware that you are connected above and below. And call on your trusted guides. And trusted guides are big powers. I know I've talked about it in the toolbox and in the level 1 course, and also in ancestor circles, but it's practicing this connecting with higher powers, bigger powers. And if you don't feel a connection to like an archangel, an angel, a deity, God, Krishna, you can call on a land spirit like mountain, ocean, tree, or universal love as a place to begin. So call on a trusted guide. Ask them to clear the energetic space around you. This is clearing out anything. It's kind of like a leaf blower, blowing the leaves out off of your driveway or something. It's just stuff that you're going to clear out of your field of energy. And then ask them to set up layers of boundaries. And I'll put a few words to it. Golden light from the sun, wrapping a bubble around you. And this holds the space for your sovereignty so that anything you come in contact in the spirit world, in the unseen world, you have that protection so that you get to be you and they get to be them. And then call on a bubble of silver light from the moon, wrapping all around the gold. And this creates a reflective quality. So anything, whether it's in your, whatever realm you're walking in your 3D world or you're popping in and out of other realms just by the sheer connection of using your intuition. That's actually another realm. So this just reflects out anything that is not for you, and you get to decide what you let into your space. And then a layer of iron from the core of the earth, Mother Earth, wrapping that around the silver. And then this repels negativity. and it transmutes it into something positive and useful. And then thank your trusted guide for being with you. I always say throughout my day and night. And that is the practice that I do at least once a week to deepen my relationship with a group of trusted guides. Even if I'm not feeling something, it's the practice that begins to build the connection that's there. Okay, so that piece is complete. Feel free to sit in that yourself for a little bit, and I'll share a few words. And just saying that sometimes when I say good morning, my simple good morning, I add in the elements, water, fire, air, and ether, or I acknowledge an animal, bird, body of water, tree, something that I can see or feel. And it's another way of deepening the connection between what is seen and what is unseen. And I just encourage you to be creative and keep it simple, knowing that you will occasionally have a day that you spend some more time listening, seeing, sensing the world that is around you. And I just recently did a talk called Sacred Boundaries. And so from that talk, I'm going to post a PDF about just as a reminder how we tap into different realms all the time. It might seem like some woo-woo or other natural thing, but really, anytime you're in some kind of a tuning into your inner voice, intuition, creativity, feeling like you're in the zone, those are all different realms. And that's why if you start with a practice of, I'm already surrounded, it's kind of like, oh, it might snow today. I think I'll wear my snow boots outside. Then you're prepared for the snow. You're prepared for whatever you need. It's not, it doesn't have to be fearful. It's just you're prepared. Okay, so the other thing that I'm just going to share today is a little bit about self-forgiveness. And it's just because it's been coming up so much. My intention today is share a few words about self-forgiveness and then we'll do a practice. I was telling the group before I started recording this that both grief and forgiveness can rise when we're doing ancestral work. We carry the grief of our ancestors in our body and bones, and things that we don't even know about that might have happened 5 generations ago. There's more and more studies about epigenetics and how we carry in our DNA patterns and grief that was never processed or forgiveness that may have, you know, just been there where that wasn't something that people talked about. Or they had to quickly move to another part of the world and didn't have time to do that. And in the second level ancestor course that I just released, the first week is grief and the second week is forgiveness, with practices and examples of how to navigate both, because it is so common that this comes up for us. All right, so you may have heard this before, but one of the foundational pieces of self-forgiveness is something called the 4 Rs: responsibility, remorse, restoration, renewal. So responsibility is when you accept something that's happened and you show yourself compassion, being a human being, making a mistake, feeling like, you'd like a do-over about something, but just accept what has happened. And then the remorse kind of ties into that because it's when you use guilt or remorse as a gateway to making a change around something, realizing that you do want to do it in a different way, that it did feel good, whatever the situation was. And then restoration, the third one, is to make amends with whomever you're forgiving. And even if it's yourself, And sometimes you make amends in meditation or writing in your journal if there's another person involved. It may feel like you need or want to do amends in person, and sometimes it's just you for your own process. And then the renewal piece is learning from the experience and growing as a person, recognizing I'm a human being and I'm going to try things, and sometimes I'm going to regret something. I'm going to feel guilty about something. And I want to just briefly bring in shame versus guilt, which again, I feel is something that many of us have talked about or studied. Because guilt is, I did something bad, something I regret, and I wish I could have done better. So with guilt, you can look at how you did the best you could under the circumstances, and there were limited choices, and you still wish it could have been different. Shame is when something happens where you take on, I am bad. There's something wrong with me. I'm flawed. I should be punished. And some of these things that we cycle back in from childhood or from when we were younger, even as an adult, is thinking that somehow we didn't get the memo that taught us how to navigate life. And so there must be something wrong with us. And it's usually something that's been mirrored to us also. So, as I've been thinking a lot about why start with self-forgiveness, because, well, and what I realized as I was thinking about it this week is that when we begin really practicing self-forgiveness and we can build compassion for ourselves, with no need to defend something, to hide a part of ourselves, it begins to build a muscle of forgiveness with others. It becomes natural. And, it might even be that we thought, oh no, I need to focus on forgiving other people. Like sometimes we get stuck in blaming someone or focusing on all the things that were done to us. So by focusing on something that you did in that situation or another one, you can begin to build even more compassion. So start with yourself with this self-forgiveness idea, and then let that go out into the world of uh, forgiveness for others. Okay, so like I said, it's just a little bit of an overview, but I'm going to do a really short self-forgiveness exercise that I read about. I've adapted it from a book called Mama Trauma that Dale Bach wrote about, maybe it might have been 1212 or 2012 when she published that book. But this exercise she called shame bubbles. So I'll talk you through it, and let's just play with it a little bit. So she starts by saying, set up a ritual space, which I know I had lit a candle for our time together, and we've already connected with trusted guides. So that's part of what she recommends. Create support around yourself, and then connect to your heart. And so remember a time when you felt pain in your heart. This might be a time when you hurt someone close to you. It could be a regret of wishing you had shared your love with someone before they died. And I'm going to be quiet for about 2 minutes and just give you a chance to let something bubble up, whether it's self-forgiveness or forgiving someone else. Just take a moment to put your hand on your heart and remember the this incident from which you want to be healed. So once you feel that connection, you use these specific words. I forgive myself for judging myself for, and then think the words or write them down even. Maybe that could be a way to do it. You might speak them out loud where you are. You might think them. I forgive myself for judging myself. And then repeat it to yourself several times or with several rounds of what you want to forgive yourself for. The way that you judged yourself. Yeah, so stay with that for a few more times. And then turn your attention in a way that you're going to use the same words or different words to reframe it. So it might be something like, the truth is, I did the very best I could for the amount of light, love, and understanding that I had at that time. And as you're saying that, you're bringing in compassion. You just call it in as an energy that is available to you. And another set of words in reframing may be, the truth is, I learned something, and now I have more information and can do better. And you might even say, I love myself for being so courageous to forgive myself. And because doing some kind of self-forgiveness for this can bring some things up, I always like to add something, an energy tool learned a long time ago I call it the car wash, where if you've ever been through a car wash or seen one and they have these things scrubbing the car as you drive the car through it. I want you to imagine first that coming in through the top of your head, there's these rotating brushes that go down into the top of your head, down through your central tube, center part of your body. And it's just scrubbing gently any energy that's there, energy that's behind your eyes, and energy as you keep going down that is just right behind your throat, the energy that's behind your heart. Just clearing it away. Any kind of dirt or grime that built up. And then the energy behind your solar plexus, the energy behind your belly, the energy that's behind your hips and your root chakra, and then all the way down through your legs and out through the bottom of your feet. And you might even imagine it's just muddy water being washed away. And then we'll do it one more time, but this time you'll have this scrubbing brushes going down through the central tube and a big brush just going around the outside of your body, the whole outside of your body. And again, we'll start with the top of your head, and then I'll mention your eyes at that level, inside and outside, your throat, inside and outside, your heart, inside and outside, your belly, inside and outside, and then all the way down through your legs. So every part of your body that needed scrubbing and just a gentle release, and all that energy goes down out through the bottom of your feet into the earth. So I'll complete this part of the recording and just say to take a moment to thank your trusted guides for being with you, for supporting you. And then when you're ready, so thank you for everyone who's listening to the recording. Please feel free to post in the comments, ask questions, or share your experiences about this or something else. All right, I'm going to stop the recording now. Thanks.